the hell is that?
I'm a little elf. Look at that. I'm Elf Dad today. Today it's
I'm a
Elf
little
Dad. Hello, Elf Dad.
I like it. Let's see what toys I got in here, Dan.
Oh, God, I don't care.
Got a little guy from, what is this, Home? I think this might be Home.
What is it from, Tony?
Home?
Hey, watch him with Dan and Tony. Hey, watch him with Dan and Tony. It's like watching, yeah.
Welcome to Hate Watching with Dan and Tony. I'm going to be Medium Energy Dan today, and who am I
will
with
make
today?
up for it with Extra High Energy Tony. Hello, everyone. I'm done. That's it.
And here on Hate Watching each week, we convene after having watched a movie over a number of days.
For real. For real this time.
Talk about said movie, and this time we're doing maybe the freshest movie we've ever done, Tony.
For sure. It's still in theaters. I mean, that's unheard of for us.
I don't think we've ever done I guess there's probably been movies that have been in theaters, but not like real first-run movies.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. This is pretty new.
Yeah. What movie are we doing, Tony?
We are, of course, I don't remember the subtitle. We are, of course, watching Avatar 2.
The Way of Water.
The Way of Water, of course.
Don't you remember when they give the speech a couple of times during the movie where they talk about the Way of Water?
The Way of Water. Water is life. It doesn't end with you. I don't understand a single word of any of those speeches. I'll be honest.
It is kind of amazing how what should be some of your seminal emotional moments are these speeches where they sort of lay out the situations and you just tune out.
It's just nonsense. It's just gobbledygook. I tune out and I'm just kind of looking around the screen and be like, is anything pretty happening? No? All right.
So this movie in theaters, big 3 hour and 12 minutes, 2022, made $2 billion plus. It's doing
too
big
much
business.
Money. Way
and
too much.
It's going to lead to their making a third for sure, maybe a fourth and fifth.
Yeah, for sure. They're not going to stop. I mean, if you make billions of dollars, you're not going to stop making them.
Well, they've already shot 3 completely, I believe.
Oh, it's fully done. Great.
I believe 3 is at least
Great.
it's completely, script shot.
So another 8 years of post-production, and we'll see that bad boy on the screen. Let's go.
I think it's going to be 2.5 years, and I think it's going to happen.
Okay.
That's what I think. Because I think they built this whole infrastructure, That's the whole sort of thing about the movie. And most of what you find, maybe not criticism, but talk about the movie is just about how it is, how it has come to exist.
Sure, yeah.
As opposed to the critique that we're going to give it here today as to why it's a terrible movie.
It's not, again, similar to the first one. I would argue not a movie. This one's barely a movie. The first one, not a movie at all. This one, there's a third act that I actually kind of enjoyed for a little bit.
Really?
A little. I'm not a lot. I'm saying there was about 8 minutes of the 45-minute finale.
The first hour of the third act or the second hour of
right.
the third act?
It was right in between the transition, I think. You know what I'm saying? It was like right on that peak, and I was like, oh, okay, and now I'm bored again.
There were 2 bits, movie concepts in here that I was like, oh, I would like to see this movie. I feel the emotions of this movie.
But you don't.
And then
you don't get
like,
that movie.
And then you get a little bit of each of those movies.
What do you want to explain them now, or do you want to wait until we see them?
Well, the 2 movies that I liked was the younger brother, his interaction with the rogue whale.
Yes,
loved it.
To me, I would watch that movie in a heartbeat. That was the best part of this film.
Gotta say, the best actor in the movie was the whale's eye.
100%. Emotions out of an eyeball, guys. I've been trying to do that for years. Once I nail that down, I'm going to get cast in everything. If I can make you feel by just looking at you, Yeah, that's how you get it.
It's great. And then the Sigourney Weaver Jr. character, her sort of connection to the group mind, which doesn't make a lot of sense since they're already connected to the group. They can already automatically connect to the group mind.
That's like their whole thing. I didn't understand that story, Dan, because their whole thing is they're connected to the earth, right?
Well, her thing is that she's so connected she can fully Aquaman the situation. which nobody else can Aquaman the situation.
I guess that, yeah, she was like grabbing people with the things. Or
she
whatever.
grabbed the people with the thing. Well, she did tie into those at that point and grab the people, but she controlled the lighty fish. And I was like, that's also interesting. It's already sort of dealt with in this movie, and it's not really that new. You know, you're not surprising, like, oh my God, you know, when somebody gets a power or something, and then you're like, oh, this was foreshadowed. And now when they have this power, I'm like, wow, that's cool.
Great.
Powerful. Yeah. So yeah, the Boy and His Whale was definitely the movie that we wanted to see.
And that's the name of the movie, The Boy and His Whale. And I would see that any day of the week.
But it is so very marginalized in the rest of this thing, where there's just so much Jake Sully, you want to kill yourself.
Can we not just move on from Jake? I really wanted him to die in this movie, and I think that would have been a nice ending. And then, you know, move on to the next generation of people that I don't hate quite as much. That would have been a real treat for me.
I was watching it, and I was like looking at the big avatars, and I was looking at the humans, and I was looking at the humans who stand right at dick height to the avatars. And I was like, it doesn't feel like the avatars were this big in that first movie. Go back to the first movie, they were. But it just seemed a lot more prevalent that there was a person standing there and then there's a human being talking to them.
Just right at crotch level. Yeah.
Right, talking to their dick. I don't know. If you'd have made it, you know, if you'd have brought the avatars down a foot, it would have been, you know, talking to the belly button. Kind of different than talking to...
not as weird. As weird. In fact, I'm talking to your soul right through your belly button, you know?
Yeah, you know, the Prama Chakra or whatever it's called. It's got some sort of name.
I'm sure it does.
I just made up that. Paratha. That's the
Paratha. Paratha.
That's the name of it. Indian bread, I believe.
Indian bread. Great.
So do you have any other first notes before we delve into the 3.5 hours?
My big thing was... Why did Sigourney voice an 8-year-old girl?
So weird.
Because the whole time she sounds like a 60-year-old woman. And not just in the voice, but also in the things that they give her to say. There's moments where she's like the wise one. And I was like, well, yeah, because she's 80 years old. She's been around the block. She knows things. It took me out of the movie a bunch. I don't know. That could just be me.
Do you want to talk about the colloquialisms of the speech of the people in this movie?
I feel like maybe those will come up as we go, but
bruh.
Hey, bruh, listen, R.I.P. Paul Walker. That's all I'll say to that.
I was taking my writing class, and I'd written a thing, and I'd used a lot of sort of contemporary OMGs and whatnot in my Space Duck future thing, and one of the guys sort of said, "Yeah." And so I've started to try to phase out the ones that are so time specific, because it's like, you know, at one point, you know, Jake Sully's like, Jesus. And I'm like, you've been on this Avatar world for 20 years. You'd think that you'd pick up what their, you know, like what their thing is in the
like rich, sweet mother, you know, something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, by the power of Crom, you know, like give us something that feels
like you're part of the people that you pretend to be, because that's a big issue with me in this whole entire movie. Is he is fully like, I am one of the Na'vi, and I no, you're not, bro. No, you're not, and it's weird. I don't know.
He has not adapted to the Na'vi way at all. I mean, he runs his family like boot camp. Still, right? You know, you'd have thought, because wasn't there sort of a 10-year period where the humans were gone and they weren't fighting the war, and then he would have become like this father figure.
But he became a jackass. He's a terrible father.
He's a much bigger asshole than he was in the other movie, and kind of for no reason.
So what I thought was going to happen, which I was so far off, by the way, I thought Sully was going to, because he was, you know, he becomes kind of a drill sergeant father. So then I thought when the bad guy, whose name I don't remember, Colonel Dipshit.
Colonel, you just call him the Colonel.
The Colonel, when the Colonial, when he finds his son, I thought maybe he was going to have a shift and be like a good dad. And I was like, oh, that's an interesting juxtaposition where the good guy's not a great dad, but the bad guy becomes a good dad. But then they're just both horrible dads. And I was shocked by this. I didn't understand what the message we were trying to get across was.
And I mean, that is part of the message. At a certain point, I didn't really feel like Jake Sully, versus the humans. I just sort of felt everybody was kind of terrible.
Yeah, no, it's a bunch of shitty, not people, but shitty aliens doing shitty things.
Now, did you ever feel like this was a real world?
Not even for 1 second. In fact, so my first note, and I maybe it's because we didn't see it in 3D. Let's get this out in the open. We didn't go to the theaters and see it in 3D. We have very legal copies, but we did not see it in the theaters with 3D. Maybe that would have made a difference to me. I don't know.
I know it wouldn't have made a difference to me.
Honestly, I'm not that impressed. I don't.
Wow.
I know, but hear me out. Hear me out. Why? I think if this was the first one we saw, I would be impressed.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that much technically better than the first one 12 years ago for me to go, wow, you've been working a decade on this. This is incredible. It's like a marginal step up. It's like the PlayStation 1 to the PlayStation 2.
Interesting.
To me.
Of course, I watched it on this my small laptop like God intended. So I can't speak too much about it. There's like one of the first times they go in the water and there's the fish. There was like this really weird ribbon fish that was sort of had, radial stuff coming out of it. And I was like, oh, wow. And then every other fish just felt like they glued a couple of our fish together.
They don't. It's the creature creation. There's a name for that that I can't think of. But I'm not enthralled. I'm not like, this is a world I want to live in. This is awesome. It's just kind of like, yeah, it's a weird fish thingy. Its mouth opens in a weird way like this instead of just a mouth. Okay.
Yeah, the big whales are just whales, except they kind of have these other things hanging off them, and they got 4 eyes, and they got 4. You just like.
And I don't know what those other things do. They don't seem to help the creature do anything. It's not like, oh, this creature's evolved into this cool thing. It's just, I got stringies.
Got stringies for no reason.
I got stringies.
And I mean, there's like this one YouTube channel of maybe it's the Monterey Bay Aquarium, and they send this submersible out into the ocean, and then they find these weird fish that have like heads that are see-through with like these fucking eyes. Just these.
That's cool.
Freaking, there's like this blood vampire fish. It's just like these fish that you're just like, what the fuck is this thing?
What is happening?
And those fish more entertaining and more, more surprising than the fish.
It's unfortunate when your real life fish is less interesting is more interesting than your sci-fi fish. You know what I mean? You fucked up.
Yeah. But I did like it, like one of the flying fish that the men rode on was like this big gar, and then they were like flying fish. Beautiful. That, there was like one little 30-second, not even 30 seconds, 9 seconds shot that I was like, oh, I'd like to see what.
Okay, goodbye. See you later.
Let's zoom in on Jake Sully. And they did a lot of sort of like fisheye lens sort of things where they sort of foreshorten the people. And that was just like a show off of technology. Is that what that was?
I mean, that's you just described all of Avatar. That's all it is. It's a showcase for this technology that, again, and I just want to reiterate so people don't come at me. I'm not saying it doesn't look good. I'm saying I don't think it looks leaps and bounds better than the original. That's all.
I'm going to posit one other thing. We've all been watching movies our entire lives. Every minute of our lives, we've been watching movies and television. Yeah. And so when you give us a video game experience where the camera can go anywhere, can flow, do anything, it stops being real. It's like the control of the camera and the eye of the camera is a thing that we're conditioned to expect to act in a certain way. And when it just stops, when it acts in this wholly new way, it doesn't make it better. It makes it.
What's interesting about that,
it distances me,
is that I agree with you 100%. But what I will say is, if you do camera effects in as real effects and you do something new with the camera, then it blows me away.
What do you
But
mean?
I can't remember which movie this was. You know what? Let's just talk about Top Gun. Top Gun uses a lot of cinematic stuff that we have never seen before on these planes.
But
Like they had cameras attached, and they're doing tricks that you cannot believe. And the fact that it's all practical is what blows your mind.
you know it's real.
You know it's real, and you're like, how the fuck are they doing this? Which the answer is unsafely. I'm pretty sure it's all terribly unsafe. But then when you go and you just have, absolute control over what it does, and you make it do whatever you want, the spectacle's gone. Because I'm like, yeah, you just programmed a computer to do whatever you want it to do. Like that's not special. That's not interesting. A child could do that. Yeah, a smart child, but still a child.
It's kind of like AI art. It's just it's something that gets spit out. It's the only thing that makes it exist in its very amazing specificity is that the computer ground on it for a bunch of time. So you get this thing that moves like this and then moves underneath and da 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 da.
It's great cadence. Da 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 da. Yeah.
Another thing is how incredibly not sexy any of this is. The dudes aren't sexy. The ladies aren't sexy. There's nothing sexy about it.
1 second, Dan.
Right?
I wasn't gonna bring this up.
These are like what you get. I think because I was thinking about the one the It Follows movie, and I was thinking about some of the interesting shots in that movie, which you hated.
Oh, sure.
But
sure.
they're interesting, and
at least they're trying something.
They're trying something. They're like moving the camera this way. They're having all this light beam down. It's
from nowhere, just from absolutely nowhere. That's a great call, Dan. Sorry.
But you're like, you found like he goes there and the aliens having sex with the mother or whatever that crazy scene was. You were like the sexiest scene. And it's like awesome. A weird scene. Just a weird scene. But it's like there's an intensity to it.
Yeah. There's like a feral. Yeah, I know. It's a good scene.
There's intensity to it. Yeah. It's like everything in this is just like, these are not sexy
Can you
people.
see me? I'm getting a little flush just thinking about it. I don't know if you can tell on the camera. I'm getting a little hot under the collar here, Dan.
Okay, so what were you going to say?
I was going to... There was one moment, Dan, where I was like, okay, that's interesting. Naomi begged me not to say this. The wife of the water people. I don't know. By the way, don't know anyone's names in this movie.
The name recognition on this thing was I thought Sigourney Weaver's character's name was Kitty, but I think like it's Kiri. But it's Kiri.
Like purring, like Kitty.
I wrote down Kitty for 2/3 of the movie, and then at one point I'm like, oh no, they're saying Kiri. Okay, that's
I don't believe it.
The water tribes. Mom, wife of the king of the water tribes. Pregnant.
So, like the queen, are they? I know they're not kings and queens, but
it's not when they were swimming around with the pregnant whale.
No. I mean, so there was just a moment where, because she's pregnant in the film, which is a thing that I enjoy. So there's just, I know, I have a lot of issues.
Okay.
But there's just one moment where she kind of, I don't even know what it was, but she was like walking into a scene and her hair kind of blew and you see a silhouette. And I was like, oh, there was some sexiness. And then it was gone immediately. But I think
there was, and I mean, that's the sort of thing is, since everything's glued on with a computer, you never really think about these being basically naked women and naked men.
Which might be the point. I don't know.
I mean, most of us, the first nudity we see is in the old National Geographic, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Not going to make that noise when I mention that.
Yeah, listen, we won't talk about it, but I was young once.
And this thing just lives so counter to the concept of National Geographic and the way that we sort of visually examine,
sure,
indigenous races. We don't have them in this perfect, beyond high def, the water looks so glorious. They just.
This is interesting. Listen. I haven't thought this deeply about it yet. So I might need some therapy. But because here's the thing: is you're absolutely right. We don't look at the Na'vi sexually at all. However, Spider, I was noticing his body quite a bit. He's a chiseled young man. And that's it, because he's dressed the same way as they are. But the whole time I was like, man, that kid works out. I'm a big fan.
There was more of a reality to Spider's existence in this world than.
Now, can you imagine if he was a good actor? That would have been interesting.
I have to say the acting didn't destroy me in this movie just because there wasn't any necessity for it.
Well, that in itself is a problem, Dan. The fact that you have a 3.5 hour movie and you're like, I mean, the acting isn't necessary for the film. We don't need it. We don't care about it.
Do we also want to talk about how like some of the kids sort of put on a native accent and then some of the kids are like right out of the mall?
Seems completely arbitrary. I don't know who's making these, who's in the audio booth with these people and hearing all these things and just being like, yeah, I think they're pretty close. I think it's fine.
There's like no consistency to the, where there's a differentiation where it's like, we're the tree people. We talk with a staccato, and then we're the ocean people, and we're like, we're ocean people, and we talk like this.
Oh yeah, like waves. You have the waves. Yeah, sure, soothing.
And I mean, if you had a vocal coach, it's not vocal coach, but a person that designs how speech patterns are, you could have done that with all the language, and sort of built a thing there where these felt like different things, but they always felt like a bunch of people doing ADR in a booth.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, boy.
Okay, here we go. Avatar
right.
Way of Water.
Everybody strap in. This is 3.5 hours. Let's go.
Avatar, we're going back to Pandora, Flappy Birds and Forest, voiceover from Jake Sully, always the guy you want to have doing the voiceover.
Did you say Flappy Bird? Do you remember that game?
Yeah.
Just a real sideshow. I was obsessed with that game. I can't believe they took that away.
Oh, didn't the guy like take it down because he was tired of people wasting their time with it?
I don't know exactly why.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably it, because he sounds like a real son of a bitch. You know what I mean?
He made like a bunch of money, I think, and he was just
and then he found,
you go. Well, but he could have kept making that money, but he just realized that everybody was wasting their time doing Flappy Bird, and he's just like, I can't be a part of this idleness.
Joy to the world. I don't want people to enjoy their lives. Give me all your money, and then I'm a peace out. Yeah, whatever, man.
Your name's James Cameron.
Jimmy C.
To you and me, ruining our lives.
All right, sorry. Yeah, Sully talking about nothing. I didn't. Fuck, man.
Many dangers to grow love in.
What's the most dangerous thing, though? What is it, Dan?
Love.
Do you remember?
Really nasty poop?
No. Probably. This place is probably full of it, by the way.
Yeah? What?
No, the most dangerous thing about Pandora is you might grow to love her too much.
Ready for another tangent? Pandora feels like the least dangerous place feels undangerous.
Which doesn't matter as much in this movie as it did in the first movie, where they set it up as the most dangerous place in the entire galaxy, and they're like, everything's out to kill you here. Nothing's out to kill you here. And it's even more subdued than it was last time.
Now, did the Pandorans, the Na'vi, did they live in peace with the whole world, or was the world dangerous for the Na'vi also?
It seems to me like they were in peace with the entire world.
The Na'vi,
right?
Were.
Yeah.
I don't know, because at the first, when she saves him and they have to go through the forest in the first movie, it's very dangerous, and she's really worried, not just because he's a loser and is going to get her killed.
Because she's also dodging.
She seems like she's like, this is dangerous just being out here, period. And in this one, they just go everywhere.
You never feel that, yeah. In fact, didn't the whale get in trouble for killing a Na'vi or something? And
we'll talk about the whale.
I
bet you don't even understand what happened with the whale, because
I still don't understand.
And I'm going to explain it to you. this movie does a terrible job of explaining it to you. And
I would hope so, because otherwise I'm a big dum-dum, and I refuse to believe that I can't understand James Cameron's child movie.
And it's ostensibly the crux of the whole movie, and they do just a terrible job explaining why this whale is outcast.
Yeah,
awful.
Awful.
And the reason for him being outcast is interesting, but really weird, and would have been interesting to actually explore, which of course they spent zero time exploring or even thinking about it, because they have to have a fucking 2.5 hour fight scene at the end of this movie that goes on forever. Okay.
Wait, Dan, I was wrong. This is the scene. I wrote it right here. We see Sully's girlfriend pregnant with a bow and arrow.
Oh,
that was attractive.
That's
what it was.
She's pregnant. She's still killing.
Yeah. So this is what here's my note. Oh shit! Pregnant blue lady killing shit is hot. That's all I said.
And that was it. So that the sexuality of the movie just
stopped.
Ground to zero.
Minute 2.
Minute 2. And I mean, that's the whole. I mean, James Cameron is the guy that gave us Linda Hamilton in Terminator 2, ostensibly one of the sexiest protagonist female character, badass female characters of all time.
Yeah.
And he did it by just, giving her a little tank top and some camos and just,
her kick the shit out of everybody. It's awesome.
And it changed men forever, giving us that incredible woman.
Yeah.
He does not
Jimmy Cameron.
Does not deliver on that with this
Not
movie.
anymore.
So we do this whole singing beads where the beads are singing.
Yep. Don't make any sense. Yeah.
And we meet the family, which is he's got an older boy. He's got an older boy, a younger boy. He's got a young daughter. He's got a medium level daughter who is Grace's, Sigourney Weaver's character's avatar, who had sex with a human man who is unnamed.
We know?
No, unnamed throughout the movie.
So let me just say, he's giving the voiceover, and he's like, we have a bead for our son, our firstborn, and we have a bead for our adopted daughter, born of Grace's avatar, whose conception is a total mystery.
The other thing that was, and the way they sort of make you feel like it's like someone had sex with her while she was dead. She
is. She's a floating corpse. She's floating in a tube, and someone snuck into the tube and boned her. That's the only explanation, Dan. She wasn't pregnant when she. Hold on, she wasn't pregnant when she died as a human.
Oh, really?
And her body she never like resurrected into the blue body, right?
Well, ostensibly, she had sex like the final time she was in the blue body.
I don't think so, man.
But it feels like someone snuck into the tube and had sex with her dead body.
I think we're talking about heavy crimes right now.
You need to like dispel that. If I was reading that script, I'd be like, you need a line in here that dispels that instantly.
Jim, we have a problem here.
we cannot have you and me and a percentage of the audience thinking that there's some guy creeping around having sex,
just getting into avatar tubes and getting his jollies off.
It's just so weird. So weird. So that's weird. Then there's Spider, who I guess is Colonel Quaritch's.
When the hell did that happen, Dan? When?
Because the kid is like 6 or something, 5 or something. So he would have had to already have had the kid. He was
there. He was there for the entire first film. Somehow. We never see him. We never mention him.
We don't talk how he doesn't have a mother either, does he? We don't even mention a mother.
Not that we know of. Nope.
And so it's just really, and he's like Spider, and this poor kid has to hiss at people.
A lot. A lot of hissing.
Why would he have to hiss? Like if I grew up with friends that were, Native Americans, I would not be doing whatever it is they do. I mean, I would play with them, but I'd still be a stupid white kid.
Yeah, you would be a stupid white kid.
Still am a stupid white kid.
Still am, baby. Did you see all the toys I pulled out earlier? I can get them back out. Got a lot of McDonald's toys.
So his
It's weird.
his accentuating Na'vi kind of stuff more than all the Na'vi kids just doesn't make any sense.
It's like he's trying to overcompensate. That's the word. Thanks, Dan.
But it didn't ever feel like that because they didn't.
No, and nobody called him on it. So I was like, well, I guess that's just how he is.
He's very hissy.
He's throwing a lot of hissy fits, this kid.
And then there's the young little kid, Took, who's the little girl.
Who does nothing in this movie.
No, she is somehow always there with all of her siblings in the danger zone. Which you're like...
what are you doing?
And this is one of the main problems with the thing is there's what? So they have 5 kids, right?
Well, they have 4 kids and then Spider, who they say at the beginning of the film is not their kid and more like a stray cat. That is in the voiceover.
Even though he seems to live with them 24/7.
Basically
when they leave, they take him with them.
Best friends with all the kids. They're inseparable, but it's a stray cat.
Who the mom is willing to murder at a certain point.
We got to get there.
Most motherly thing ever.
She really loses it, man.
I'm murdering this child to save my other children. There's no mother on the planet. No mother on the planet. No one that raised a kid ever on the planet unless
that likes their kids. Nobody is like, I need to save my kids would then kill a different kid. But someone who doesn't like their kids might just kill kids. I don't know.
See, that's the whole thing. The whole, save Spock or save the universe. When you plug that equation into a mother and a child, good luck universe. You're fucking dead.
Yeah. Amen to that. And that's how I feel about you, Dan.
And it's not how I feel about you.
Time. Listen, I respect you for your decision.
Love this universe.
I'm pretty indifferent to the universe. It's all right.
People I don't care about. The universe is what I care about. Okay. We get a penis face joke. Okay, so wait. So they have
pretty early in the movie. Oh, sorry, yeah.
They have 5 kids, and then when they get to the water people have a son, a daughter, and then 2 or 3 hanger-on kids. So we've got about
50 kids,
10 kids in many scenes. Where even at the end of the movie, I had a hard time telling the 2 brothers apart, and even the water Na'vi and the forest Na'vi. Not that different shade of colors. No.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, these guys should have been white, like eels or something.
Translucency, yeah.
They should have been different, but the tonal range is so tight on these. You are constantly confused about.
You really got to just check out the tails, man. The tails are different.
Even the tails, a lot of time you couldn't see, and the arms that kind of come out, you couldn't see. The way they shoot them, since it is constant mocap, I think they'd spend a lot of time
on the face,
being right in there, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. Then they go on a date night. We have to do like a whole date night thing, which I don't understand why we should even spend 1 second on that. And do you think on date night that they have their birds fuck each other?
Yeah, it's like a foursome. I mean, but it's 2 separate twosomes that equate to a foursome. You know what I'm saying? They're not intermingling for sure. But yeah, those birds are getting it on. Did you feel that sexual tension while they were flying? Yeah, the birds are getting it.
Did you feel it? I did not feel any sexual tension while the birds were flying.
I was just messing with you.
I was just thinking about it, thinking this is weird that you're going to spend some time setting up a thing that makes me think about their birds having sex while they're riding them. I mean, it's like I don't need to go there.
But you did.
Well, no,
too late, Dan.
He took me there.
He led you by the hand to the door and said, "Go on in, friend." And then you went in. You can't come back.
Lizard birds fucking. Great.
Door shuts right behind you. You're trapped there forever.
We know why, Jake Sully, what is he doing while he's here? He's making babies full time.
He's making a bunch of babies.
Anytime,
he's
anywhere.
A sick man.
He's a sick man, but
he's got a problem, all right?
So lo and behold, we have this really nice spaceship shots, and I'm like, I am intrigued by this. Here come the spaceships. The spaceships land and they just burn the whole place down or something?
Yeah, they just start torching. I don't understand the move at all. What's the plan? Don't you need... I got nothing. They just literally come out, flamethrowers, just burning the whole place down.
Not even flamethrowers. They come down and it just
with the
just
spaceship.
The spaceship just fire just rains out of it and destroys everything.
Yeah, and so then the Na'vi are running. They're on the run. You know, oh man, what's going to happen next, Dan?
This movie, of course, suffers. What's going to happen next? This movie suffers from the whole problem of, if I could do that, I could just have anything in the air at 100,000, say a large white balloon.
Uh-oh.
That could rain terror down on everything. I think in the first movie they said there's magnetic fields in the magnet rock place. That's why they hide in the magnet rock place. But if they really wanted to come and take over this planet, they could just destroy all the mother trees and just take it over without a thought.
Yeah, it's pretty easy, to be honest with you.
Considering how it's played. In real life, you couldn't do any of those things.
Sure.
Because you can't do them. It's like, it's very hard to beat a forest. But in this thing, they just wave their hands and magical waves of fire just clear the land perfectly.
Just shoot on out for some reason. I still don't understand why. So then what happens, Stan?
Oh, more importantly, Jake Sully's there watching while it happens.
Yeah, they're both watching. It's not just Jake Sully. It's Jake and his lovely bride.
What else happens? I don't remember anything else happening.
We cut straight to 10 years later, or 1 year later.
1 year later.
They're literally running through the forest. The fire is coming towards them. And then we just cut to black and go 1 year later. What the fuck just happened? This is the interesting thing. How are they going to take it? What happened? Where do they live now? I don't understand any of that. And we don't talk about it at all. 1 year later, it's just like, yeah, we're back to normal. We're just living two different things and the humans are back. The fuck is going on, man?
The humans are back. And here comes Colonel Quaritch. He's a Na'vi. So they put all of his memories on a stick,
flash drive, on a little thumb drive. Yeah,
they show it to us. Here
it's just like a little 2 gig thumb drive.
This idiot, this fucking asshole. Did this asshole fuck everything up, Tony?
Yeah, and he's about to do it twice.
So wait a second. Let's get to the base principle.
Okay, yeah.
He sucked, right? He sucked.
Yeah, he was terrible. He was awful.
He couldn't do his job.
Yeah.
He cost them everything.
Yeah.
This is the guy they invest all their money in and their new program in this asshole. Why?
Yeah, well, his whole team. His whole ineffective team.
He brings back the whole fucking ineffective garbage crew. Because they couldn't, they're such a bunch of dumb shit boneheads. These are the fucking assholes they're bringing back.
Except for maybe Michelle Rodriguez. She wasn't in that group, was she?
She was a good guy.
But not at first, though, right? Or was she a good guy the whole time?
She was part of their crew, and then at a certain point, she's like, fuck this shit.
Flip-flopped,
in the fucking full Michelle Rodriguez. Talk about someone I want to see again.
Amen.
Fucking an actual badass.
Yeah.
Bring her back. Fucking rechip her. Fuckers.
Yeah.
No.
It's weird. So when did we go from laying into a tube and sending our conscience into a Na'vi body to now just being able to completely clone a person in a Na'vi body? When did we switch that?
10 years. The 10 years between movies.
10 years. All right.
10 years between movies.
All right. So dumb.
It's stupid.
Yeah, it's real dumb.
It's dumb. Like, that was one of the things about actually, let's talk about Jeopardy for a second. That was one of the whole things about the Jeopardy of the Avatar thing is your stupid body laid in a tube, right?
Right. Yeah, you were unconscious somewhere else. Yeah, your body, your corporeal body.
That's the whole thing with astral projection is you're off astral projecting somewhere. Somebody comes there and they shoot you in the head. You're dead. You're
gone both places, guy.
Yeah.
Yep. Not anymore.
Not in this movie.
Yep. Don't worry about it. That's too much to juggle. You know what I mean? Let's simplify it. Let's give him one space.
And there's no tension. There's no secret mission to kill Quaritch while he's out being an Na'vi. No.
Yep. Nothing.
Okay. He's there with all his Marine buddies, old footage, floppy disk, military. What is he there to do?
I think he's just there to kill Jake Sully.
And does he talk about payback?
He does, doesn't he?
He talks about payback.
But he doesn't technically know yet. Right?
I don't know. That the knowledge base, there's a point at which he says that later on when Jake Sully's kid just died, he's like, "You lost one son already," and you're like, "How does he even fucking know that?
How do you...
how this kid died somewhere else?
Yeah,
he doesn't know that. He doesn't even know the kid was shot. The kid barely knew he was shot."
Yeah, that's true. He was surprised when he got out of that water. He's like, "Wait a second, I'm shot." Yep.
So this is one of those classic movies where he has all this information. Like, I know Jake Sully's the guy. They brought me back because I failed at taking care of Jake Sully before. Is this the military? Who is? How do they run this thing? Is it military?
Can't be the military, because the military isn't going to be like, just go kill one guy. Forget everything else. I don't know.
It's this corporation that has a name like PLD or something like that.
Okay.
What does a corporation care about?
Money.
Profits.
Which is the whale semen.
Yeah.
So
well,
why?
It's whale brain fluid, I believe.
Nah, it's whale semen. I don't really care what you say.
What we have to do is get the whales to ejaculate.
Just
oh my God. See, if you want to make it really horrible, what they do is they wait for the whales to have sex, and then they go and they kill the mother whale that just had sex.
Oh, no. I mean, listen, that's really sad, but at least, the last few moments on Earth are in enjoyment.
Sweet whale heaven.
If that's, I would, that's how I want to go. If I'm going to go, it better be in the throes of passion.
There it is. This thing, they act like it's military, but it's really corporate. And corporate military is not going to allow you to do payback, right?
No, for sure not.
Military is not going to put the guy that fucked the thing up beyond comprehension back on the thing. Just as corporations are not going to put the guy that fucked up the whole thing and lost them.
Right, because what a liability you are.
Yeah, but
you've already proved it to me.
No, what we're doing is we're putting this entire world in the hands of this guy that is garbage and useless. And for him getting payback on a guy that may have killed him.
Yeah. Well, he did kill him. He'll find that out later.
No, Nahiri killed him.
Oh, right. You're right.
She killed him.
She bow and arrowed him. I remember that.
Okay, so the our good guys, we get to see them doing their thing. They attack this train, which they easily blow up and just take a bunch of guns out of. It's a train from the one city to
nowhere. I assume it just makes a loop and comes right back to town.
That's another thing that we don't set up at all is what the situation. I had to let the dog out because
I knew what you were doing. I think everybody knew what you were doing, Dan. This is not our first rodeo. We've all been here. We know what's going on over there.
So they ambush this train, which they easily dispatch.
Yeah.
Nothing in orbit protecting the train. Nothing special. It's train full. What are they transporting on the train, Tony? Guns.
Oh yeah, weapons. For who? Who are they giving them to? I don't understand. I don't know. I don't understand the plan.
They're sending weapons from one city to another city that we never see, and there's no reason for any of this.
As far as I know, there's only one human occupation. I don't know.
Who knows? Even though soon all us humans are going to have to live here.
That's a given. Yeah. That's a given.
And then the brothers do kind of stupid stuff, and he yells at them, and he's an asshole.
He's a mean bad dad. I'll tell you that.
Colonel
Doesn't listen to his kids. He yells at his kids. It's no good.
Colonel jokes with his men and says the mission is to kill the leader of the insurgency. Back at the Navi HQ, he yells at the kids. He says Jesus as a swear. He treats the kids like it's military.
Yep.
And I wrote, Nahiri, stop being so tough on the kids. I don't know why I wrote that. And then we get the setup of Sigourney's character wondering about her dad. And then we get poor Spider. And then we say to him that you're not your dad. Why would you even tell him who his dad was or talk about his dad? Or
well, because Stan, if you look like you do, and then you're surrounded by giant blue people, you're gonna have questions. You can be like, "Hey, where did I come from? Because I don't look like any of you people. What's going on?"
Okay,
but I guess you don't have to tell him oh, you're the son of the bad guy. I guess you don't have to say that. You just be like, you had a human father. Congratulations.
The humans all had
He's
to
dead
leave.
now. Oh, you tell him he's dead. He's like, yeah, your dad died in the war. He was a hero, blah, blah, blah.
There would be an interesting discovery if they said that his dad was
He's
a hero who died in the
you're
war.
my son. And he's like, well, no, I'm not, Dad.
And then there's this whole conflict of him wondering, but we don't.
And then it means something a little bit more when he saves him at the end, to me. That's a much better story. I'm going to call Jimmy. I'm going to call Jim up and be like, hey, we need some reshoots on that Avatar.
So we're in Bridgehead City, which is the one city that we see. It's really very beautiful. They go through it. Very cool looking. Is a blasted plane around it so that the Na'vi can't sneak up there. Like, okay, that kind of works.
Is this where we meet the mech lady?
You have Edie Falco as the head of the city.
Is that who's the person in the machine suit?
That's Edie Falco.
Okay, we need to talk about this real quick, Dan.
Yeah.
Okay, she's drinking coffee. Okay,
she's in a mech suit, so she's the same size as a Na'vi because you always want to
But the mech suit, is like almost an exoskeleton, and the arms are not attached to her arms, but they mimic her arm movement.
Yeah,
this is important. So she's drinking coffee out of the mech arm. Now the mech arm mirrors her movements about a foot, probably maybe a foot and a half. How the fuck is she getting that coffee cup to her mouth, Dan? That doesn't make any sense.
Dude,
this is the move. I shut off. I was like, nope, you can't. Really? You can't do that. Doesn't make any sense, James Cameron. You didn't think about that for 1 second. You idiot.
Get her out of the mech suit. Have her talk to him not in the mech suit.
100%. She's talking to humans. She's not talking. I don't know. I just got very upset. She'd have to get her arm in her skull and then tilt it back to get that coffee cup here. Ridiculous.
So we set up some more really interesting information that is going to get paid off in the later movies. Their mission here on Tony, what's their mission here on Pandora?
Straight up, do not remember. I have no idea.
Earth is dying, and so we need to find a new home for humanity.
All right, so let's go to the place that we fucked up last time.
More importantly, let's go to the place that we can't live on. Oh,
right, because they can't breathe on here. I forgot about that.
Except Spider, who has a breathing mask with a 200,000 hour tank.
Never-ending supply of oxygen. Yeah, that makes perfect sense, guys.
No jeoprdy from any of that either. There's no point at which Spider has to be like, oh shit, I'm running out of O2.
Where's his refill station? That's what I want to know. Because he's been living there for 10 years.
Let me talk about a movie that I shit so hard on was Oblivion with stupid Will Smith and his dumb kid.
After Earth.
At least they thought about that kind of stuff.
100%. I mean,
it was dopey, but at least they tried to handle it.
They at least thought about it. That's, you know what? Kudos to you for at least thinking about it.
This movie, we just have Spider wearing the thing with the oxygen tank 24/7.
All the time. And it's a tiny little thing. It's like this big. I don't know. It's dumb.
So New Home for Humanity, they have to pacify the hostiles. And they want to be careful because they don't want to trigger the forest because, like, if they send things with humans, then the whole planet gets mad and sends lizards and shit to fuck things up.
No, because it's a dangerous planet. Yeah.
No, but I mean, they set up that planet's angry with them, and so it's sort of fighting against them specifically if they linger too long close to something.
We have an understanding with Pandora where we won't go outside of our city that we burned the ground to find. I don't understand it.
More importantly, all these ships that they go do the whaling on, shouldn't those be constantly attacked by all of the creatures on the planet? 1,000,000%.
Yeah. Yep.
What we've set up here. But we're not going to pay attention to any of our rules that we're setting up here for no reason.
That's a James Cameron special right there. I'm going to set up arbitrary rules that I will never follow in my own movie. Idiots.
Okay. So let's see. let's see, where are we at? So they drop the colonel and his men in the forest. The kids are in the forest. They find tracks. They follow the colonel. The kids observe them. The kids have radios. They call it into Dad. Dad's like, I'm going to get there as soon as nothing is happening.
I'm confused. Is this the same? Did we have comms last time too? I feel like we must have.
I don't believe so.
But it seems like the range on these comms is infinite.
Infinite.
However, it seems impossible to intercept the feed. You know what I mean? Like in most movies,
yeah, sure.
when people are on walkie-talkies, other people are hearing the walkie-talkies.
Countermeasures.
Somehow this is like one-to-one connection with whoever you want at the moment you want it. I don't understand it.
And it's not like they're carrying a unit or anything like. It's just super magic.
Yeah, I don't like it.
It can go in the water. It can do everything.
It can do anything, anytime. It's amazing. It's the best.
Never breaks down at a necessary point to cause
There's never
tension.
a crackle. There's never like bad signal anywhere. It's just perfect all the time.
I mean, isn't that the way this movie is? It's like everything has to operate perfectly,
24/7. Yeah.
And I mean, that is the truth of movies is they exist at those points where your plans start breaking the fuck down and things start going south. And there's a bit of that in this movie, but there's so much of it that just everything works perfectly.
Yeah.
Kids call it in
for about 2 hours and 45 minutes, and then there's like 30 minutes.
He tells them to get out of there, and they all get out except Spider. I think they grab Spider, and then they make him watch a video of Nahiri killing his dad, who he knows what his dad looks like somehow.
Listen, I don't know. But yeah, no, they make him watch that. It's kind of like if you ever saw Zoolander. It's a very similar scene to Zoolander where they're making him kill the Prime Minister of Malaysia. It's very similar.
So there's a big fight, which I assume is Jake and Nahiri and whatever. Yeah, I wrote about this fight. Meh. And the bad guys end up with
There's
Spider.
No real emotional stakes, so I don't care what you're fighting about.
So the good guys all get away except Spider. They get Spider. And did they really care that they got Spider?
Only the Sigourney Weaver is upset. She's upset.
She's sort of in love
Nobody
with
else gives a shit.
Really?
And nobody else cares.
So do they even talk about trying to rescue Spider or anything?
They're not gonna rescue him. That's the whole thing. Sigourney's like, I'm sad. They talk about her missing him. They're like, oh, you missed Spider, huh? Well, anyhow, that's it. That's all you get. Nobody cares enough to go get the kid. It's pretty fucked up.
And Jake wants to go and hide his children, not the other kid that he rose, because that kid's like a stray cat. Don't care about the stray cat. Only care about his kids.
So his defense of this maneuver to run away to go somewhere else is he's like, they're after us.
Yeah, not the culture, not like what he's trying to do.
Which is all wrong. But Guy, they don't know you're leaving. So the first stop is going to be to destroy everything in the forest. And then the last living Na'vi will be like, Jake Sully left. And then a knife through the eye. And they're like, well, we better go somewhere else now because I guess Sully's gone. But he didn't tell us we were leaving, so we killed everyone. It's a terrible plan. It's the worst plan I've ever
heard. The Colonel then... They start to brainwash Spider with this big whirring machine. Spider...
I'm sorry. Yes, this is the Zoolander scene. I'm sorry.
Wait, this is the Zoolander scene?
This is the Zoolander scene. He gets strapped into a machine, and they're like, kill the Prime Minister of Malaysia. It's the exact same scene. James Cameron saw Zoolander and was like, this is brilliant. Put it in the Pandora movie. It's incredible.
So part of their purview is to torture children.
Yeah.
Human children.
That's a given.
Human children.
Well,
torture human children. Right?
What's the problem with that, Dan? What's your issue?
America did a lot of terrible things in Vietnam.
Yeah, we did.
I do not think that they would have taken children out of villages, taken them someplace, and under military support, tortured the children.
Sure. Well, listen, I don't know. I'm not a historian, okay? Could have happened.
So the colonel steps in, stops it, and we get the "he's not your son." And then the colonel goes into the cell and he man-to-mans it with Spider. And he gives him he says, "I respect you," and he gives him his old dog tags, which Spider throws across the thing.
Yeah.
How convinced were you that Spider would buy into this? He's like the cool dad that's trying to help him.
I thought it was going to happen, Dan.
So,
I was still hopeful.
So, but I mean, the performance of the colonel. Did you buy? I did not buy that Spider would think that he's on his side.
But now, are we blaming that on the actor or the writing? I mean, yeah, because it's tough. It's a hard line to really figure out where the fault lies.
I mean, I know if I was writing this movie, I would want to perform writing / directing, which someday I will be writing and directing.
Yeah, you will. Hell yeah, man.
No, I won't. I would want him to give an actual heartfelt, emotional performance in there to 100%. Convince Spider. Not I'm going to drill sergeant you into.
It turns out James Cameron's dad must have been a drill sergeant because that's the only way he seems to be able to write fathers.
Yeah, it seems like it. So Jake gives up leadership. We have a little thing where he leadership is not a thing, and the guy has to fake cut him to be leader. Stupid.
Yeah, it's pretty silly.
which will make the people safe. Lots of looking back. They fly away through a storm. I like the storm. I like them flying through the storm. I thought that was interesting.
Well, it had no bearing on the story whatsoever, so...
I thought it looked nice, though.
Yeah, I'm sure it looked cool. At one day, Jim was like, "Can we do a storm? Let's just put it in. I don't know. It looks great."
Good. How much is it going to cost us? $15 million? That storm's worth $15 million.
All right, put it in. Love it. We'll use it for 1 second.
They're going to go live with the Sea Clans. I guess Sigourney Weaver Jr. gets to say, "Are we there yet?"
What a great joke. No. What a great joke. I mean, kids are the same no matter what. Huh, Dan?
It's very pretty. They're turquoise.
It is pretty.
Jake's kid, the younger kid, instantly falls for this sexy. I wrote sexy. She's kind of sexy when we first meet the teenage girl. And then we never think about that again.
Yeah. Nor do they, it seems, which is interesting.
The big sexy leader shows up, and then the wife shows up, and she's like the badass. And then she's all like, "You're slow." And then she points out that some of them are half-breeds with demon blood. And then Jake Sully's like, "We beat the Sky People," which is yesterday's news because Sky People back.
Right? Yeah, they're here. So why do I care that you once made them run away for a little bit?
The wives hiss at each other, and then they're like, "Don't bring your war here."
And then?
They get to stay because...
No idea. I have absolutely no idea. It feels like those are the words. It's like, "You can't bring your war to our shores." And he's like, "I'm done with war." And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? Come in. Come on in. I thought you were still in the wartime. Yeah, come in." It's so dumb. Doesn't make any sense.
He didn't even say, "I'm transitioning from war to hiding."
Sure. Nope.
Because he couldn't say that, right? James Cameron couldn't make that character say that.
I guess.
I mean, there's another whole thing. What about if Jake Sully's like, "Okay, it's pacifism. We're just going to have to learn to live with these humans. I've made that decision. I'm going to stop being a drill sergeant. I'm going to try to be the Na'vi way."
Nope. No, sir. Not today.
They tell them that they're babies. I wrote, "Unless they're talking or we're very close up to them, I have no idea who's who." And even when they're talking, I don't always know.
It's hard to tell. Yeah, I don't know. They all, yeah.
A couple of the Sea People friends look a little different and have a little different haircuts, a little different slopes on their faces.
Yeah,
so you can kind of tell. And then they learn to swim. We see some fish. There's a helicopter with Spider, and so they fly a helicopter, and they're going to use Spider, and Spider's going to teach them how to be proper Na'vi out there with no humans around.
Right.
Here's a question.
Yeah.
Why doesn't Pandora attack Spider?
Because he's one with the mother.
There is one with the mother.
I don't know. Maybe. Never mind. Nope.
And so the first thing they have to do is learn to ride the sky beasts. You want to talk about that scene, Tony?
We've already seen this scene, Dan. This is the same scene that happened in the first movie, only with the bad guy instead of Sully. He falls off a cliff, and then he's flying it. Is there something you wanted to talk about?
Why does Spider help them?
I have no idea. I think, because they brainwashed him to kill the Prime Minister of Malaysia. So he's all in. He's all in. I have no idea.
You know what? I would buy that better than this movie. That if the brainwashing actually worked and they softened him up, and then the Colonel went in there and Spider's we glaze him up a bit. You know, we put a little computer glaze on his eyes. And
you don't have to change his acting very much, which is great. It's already very flat.
But no, Spider's laughing at them. You're never going to be able to do this.
And he was like, oh, I forgot to tell you, usually tie him down first or something weird like that. And then he falls off a cliff and then he's flying it. And then Spider's like, oh, he's cool.
Now, if you were Spider, Tony, and you lived in Navi...
Hold on, let me take off my shirt. Get ready for this role here.
Let me paint a couple blue lines on you. You're Spider.
Yeah.
Ostensibly, he doesn't like these guys, right? I mean...
He should hate them.
He should hate them.
He should hate them.
He should hate them.
Yeah.
Wouldn't he lead them into some fucking trap? Wouldn't he drive them off a cliff?
You would definitely bring them into the dangerous part of Pandora, without a doubt. Yeah.
I mean, that's what the bad kids in the other thing do. They take the guy they don't like to the dangerous area to try to get him killed.
Yeah, to our main family. They do the right move.
Spider can't do that move for unknowable reasons.
Because he's a dope.
So let's see. We learned that the jelly, and then Spider then goes on to teach them the language, teach them to fly, teach them everything about Pandora. I'm surprised. Well, did he know? Oh, he didn't know that they left. I'm surprised he didn't just take them right to where Jake Sully lived.
Right, but that's the thing. He doesn't know. He should have been taking them straight to the forest people and murdering them all, just like they then do to the sea people. I got nothing.
There's a jellyfish you can put on your back like wings, and it lets you breathe.
Doesn't make any sense.
Wonder if they're going to use that later. Kitty gets into it with the boys. Call her a freak. There's bullying because there's always bullying. There's tail fighting. And then Jake Sully's like, you go apologize to them. We got to live with them. Stop being a little jerk, you little fuck. And so he goes and apologizes.
Stop being a little jerk, you little fuck. That's good. That's good parenting.
Apologizing, and then they're all like, now we're friends. Tony,
yeah.
If guys were treating you like shit, and then you apologize to them, and then they were like, now we're friends, would you buy it?
No, they're going to treat me twice as bad because now they know they can get away with it.
Because they know you're a pussy. I don't like using the word pussy, but they know you're a pussy.
But they would use it, and that's the key.
So they're like, let's go out and hunt. They ditch him, and then we have the big shark attacks him, and he has to keep crawling through stuff to try to get away from the shark.
Yeah.
How exciting was that, Tony?
It was pretty dull. I also didn't love the shark creature. I didn't love it.
Was it scarier than a real American shark?
Not at all. You know, it's one of the scariest movies ever, Jaws. That's a scary movie. That's just a regular shark guy. Well, he's a big shark, I guess. That's the whole point of him. No. Not at all.
You didn't feel a lot of tension from him trying to get away from this big CGI shark?
No, and I've seen a lot of shark movies, and there's always a lot of tension, but I didn't feel it at all here. Not even for a second.
And then, boom, he calms down, so he can breathe. And then this other bigger fish attacks the shark.
Sorta.
Oh, no, it pushes him into a wall.
It pushes him into a wall and then squishes him. Yeah. But it doesn't ever eat him. I just expected it to eat him. I don't know. It was weird.
Whales, it's not like it doesn't have teeth. I don't think it eats them. It probably eats plankton or shit.
Yeah, I guess you're probably right.
Yeah.
Just squished him a little.
And then he's going to die. And then he wakes up and he's on a reef. And then, boom, he's not on a reef. He's on top of the whale.
Wait a minute. Yeah,
that surprised me.
I liked it a lot. Yeah.
It's really nice. And then he bonds with the whale, and it was really beautiful. And you were just like, oh my God.
This is my favorite. This is the best part of the movie. Him and his whale, best part of the movie.
Yeah, it's really cute. Oh, he has to like get a thing off the whale. The whale has a thing stuck in him.
Yeah, it's got in his fin.
Yeah, it's really nice. Really,
it's
really
good.
beautiful. And he's all like, I got to figure out how to talk to you. And you're like, that's what a stupid kid would do, is try to figure out a way to talk to his whale.
Well, but the problem is, normally it wouldn't work. In this movie, it does.
And I like that. That's the part of
you
aspect
did?
of it I like.
Right.
Sure, why not? Jake talks to Kitty. She's feeling the soul of the planet. And what does he do?
Doesn't he just like tells her to shut up? I don't know. He does.
He does. You are living on a planet where you can commune with.
You can literally talk to.
You can literally see all your ancestors. You can do all this incredible magic stuff. She says one thing. He's like, "Nah, you're full of shit."
Nah, yeah. Keep that to yourself, little girl. You don't know what you're talking about.
Shut the fuck up.
Right.
Shut the fuck up.
Daddy just wants to be alone.
I want to have sex with my wife with my bird.
My bird.
There's a nighttime scene where he's hanging out with his big whale. I'm like, this is really cool.
It's one of the prettier scenes to me. It's one of the prettier scenes in the movie
Very
too.
Pretty. There's this movie called The Big Country.
Okay, I don't know this movie.
Gregory Peck marries like the rich white girl. She's from Texas. He's from the Eastern Seaboard. Okay. He moves to Texas with her, and then they begin to all the people there. Charlton Heston plays her old boyfriend.
Oh, okay.
And they put him through the ringer. They're just like, they just fucking put him through the ringer, and he takes it. He just always takes it, doesn't fight back. And they're all like, "You're a fucking pussy," boom, boom, boom. At one point, he's like, I want to see the country, Texas. And he like leaves, gets on his horse, and goes out into the country. And everybody freaks the fuck out because he's gone. And they're like, he's going to die out there. Boom, 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 boom. Then when he comes back, they're all like, oh no, they go out and they find him. And they're all like, oh, you didn't stand a chance. You were going to die. He had a compass and everything. And it's just like, he knows who he is and what he could do.
Yeah.
I don't know what the point of this story was.
I don't know, but it sounds like a good movie.
Well, okay, that's the whole thing, is the kid needs to come back from the whale thing and be like this whole thing, and then there has to be this really point of non-belief. That's what it is.
Sure.
And
yes.
there's kind of a point of non-belief, but you really need to set that up where it's a really interesting tension.
They're just like, oh, that's the bad one. He's outcast. You shouldn't be friends with him.
Yeah, that's what they say, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's like, oh, okay.
They shouldn't believe him. They should be like, you're full of shit.
Yes, that is correct.
Maybe you saw this whale. No, you didn't. Maybe you saw him, but you got to stay away from him. Whatever.
Yeah, and he's like, no, he's my best friend. Like, no, he's not. You're a liar.
Back home, kid takes the blame. Dad, you brought shame on the family.
When did that happen? Exactly.
Because he left and shame? Shame's one of those big words. Shame.
Shame is a big word.
No, shame is a big word.
Shame.
When they do that shame thing in the
Game of Thrones.
Huge emotions.
Yeah, it's fucked. It's fucked, man.
It's fucked, man. Maybe this should be a 2-part episode.
You think so?
No.
How much more do we have of this movie? You're right. I didn't even look at the time. We've been talking for a while. People have checked out about 45 minutes ago.
This is going to be our longest episode. I knew it was going to be. So the whale's an outcast by the other people.
Yeah. Do we get to talk about why yet, or is it later?
No, we're not there yet.
Oh, dang it. I'm so excited to find out the reason.
He goes back out there and just finds him instantly.
He doesn't seem to have to try very hard.
No, he just goes out there. Boom, they're hanging out. Yeah. Kiri goes to the spirit tree. So the spirit tree's underwater. I think it was better than the first spirit, the forest spirit tree. I thought it looked cool.
Well, it's a little confusing that a tree is underwater, but it's fine. That's
the funniest thing you've ever said. Kitty has a flashback, and Grace is about to tell her who her dad is, and then she comes out of it for no reason.
She has like a seizure, right? Isn't that this part?
They say, she has a seizure, and then
she like starts glowing or something. I thought she was getting electrocuted is what I thought was happening, but they told me that that's not right.
Supposedly she's having an epileptic seizure. They call in the human characters who we've never seen the rest of the movie, who fly in on a helicopter.
They know exactly where he is now.
Well, he just calls on the phone.
The comms are incredible, but now people know where he is. That's a bad move.
If I call you on the thing because my kid's dying, because that's all that matters, right? It's his kids.
It doesn't seem like it.
Nothing else matters.
Honest.
Only his kids matter.
Nothing really matters.
He is choosing Spock every second, but only his specific kids.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Hold on, let me. Oh shoot, Shannon. Whatever.
Oh boy.
Set up. Hold on 1 second. Shannon, my box got delivered. She has my phone too.
Oh, delivery for Dan Goodsell. What is it? Tell everyone what it is, Dan. Come on.
My books.
What a nerd.
I am a nerd. Okay. So they're like, oh, my box got delivered. Could you drag it inside?
Is it your box set of Seventh Son?
Oh, please don't do that. I don't want you to get mad at me.
My box got delivered.
My box has been delivered.
I get paranoid. I don't like having my shit stolen.
No, because I'll steal it. True. If I was there, and I would swipe that right off your stoop.
Then we sort of set up this thing where the science isn't helping her, and so then they give her magic powders. The mom comes in there.
But let's be clear. It seems like the science people have been there for about 8 minutes. Yeah. And then the mom comes in just pissed off and is like, "You're doing nothing. Get out. We're going to try magic or something." Doesn't make any sense. Why did we even call them in if they're only going to be in the movie for 30 seconds?
Oh, because that's a plot device so that's how the bad guys find out where Jake is. No,
See,
it is.
I told you. I mean, I know what it just, but that's not right.
Yeah, I mean it's wasted. Yeah,
it's stupid.
It's stupid.
So stupid.
Stupid. Oh, so then they're like, "You have epilepsy. No more spiritry for you." Does that ever come into play in the movie?
No, she should have to plug in again for something.
They have to take the risk.
I don't understand.
They have to risk something, but
no. They don't. It's just
we give her this arbitrary threat of something that never occurs in the movie.
Nope, never once.
It's, like it's the whole thing. You put the gun on the table, you got to use the gun. You threaten the kid with the thing they can't do, they have to do it.
Or they don't. So there you go.
Or you're James Cameron and
we're good.
That line's gonna pay off in the 5th Avatar.
Yeah, we'll push it down the line. Push it down the line, boys. Don't worry.
And there are definitely things in this movie that you feel like are going to be in the next movie.
Damn, this is a whole world, okay? Not everything happens immediately. All right.
So let's see. Spiders teaching them the language. They have intel on where they're at because of that thing. So so then what it is the colonel and all his guys go to the whale hunting ship.
Right.
You want to talk about the whale hunting ship and the captain of the whale hunting ship
I want to talk about the first mate or the biologist because that's Jermaine, right?
It's Jermaine.
Because it's so shiny.
It's so his part is so terrible.
Well, so here's what I don't understand.
They piled money on top of him. I understand that is a pile of money that would be very hard to say no to. But
I would say, here's the thing is, if someone comes to you and is like, would you like to be in the biggest movie of all time? The answer is yes, Dan. Doesn't matter. The answer is yes. Even if your part sucks so hard, you say yes.
And you know what you do? You make sure that you wear a mask the entire time and you do a terrible American accent that only through true fans will know what's happening.
You've seen Ted Lasso, right?
We didn't finish it.
There's a moment where Roy Kent impersonates Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
That's what this reminded me of.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, howdy, cowboy. And I was like, that's him. That's Jermaine right there. That's what I see in Avatar this whole time. Just a guy who can't really do it. I don't know. It was great. It was ridiculous.
One of the funniest people on the planet, one of the most interesting actors and character people just put in this role that makes no sense.
For no reason. Just absolute wasted. Is he going to come back? Did he die? I don't remember.
Don't know.
I hope he comes back for something. I don't know. I don't remember much about the boat. And the captain's like a short, fat guy, right? I could have played that role.
You'd have been decent. He's terrible.
Well, let's not get crazy, Dan.
Boom, boom, boom. And of course, Spider's there, like just wandering around, just does whatever he wants.
He's totally free. Nobody's ever, like, he's not restrained ever.
Jump in the water, swim away. Who knows?
Yeah, nobody would have cared. It's
hangs out.
Not a great way to hold someone captive. I'll just tell you that, guys.
So now the bad guys then terrorize the villages. They're going to go, they don't get a real fix, so they just know the zone. So what we're going to do is we're going to destroy village after village after village and burn them down and shoot their animals and be horrible and say we're going to shoot their women until they give up Jake Sully.
First thing I want to say, Dan, is I am clearly a bad person and I'm slightly racist because I could not tell. The first island they went to, I was like, is this the island that Sully's at? I don't know. He kind of looks like the guy that I've been seeing for a while. I can't tell the difference. And then I felt really bad because I was like, oh, it's not. It's a totally different island with different people.
That does not make you racist, Tony. I'm going to tell you right now, that is not a thing that makes you racist. So Jake finds out about the situation, and so Nahiri's like, let's go hunt him, the colonel. We're going to hunt them.
And what does Sully say?
I don't know.
Nah.
Oh, he says nah?
Let's not do that. How about that instead?
So, whoops, I left off the whole thing where the whole big whale herd just came back, including this one pregnant whale.
Yeah, and then they like hang out in the water or something.
They do a bunch of swimming together.
And they're like, hey, how's your baby? My baby's good. How's your baby? My baby's also good.
Does the whale actually talk to her?
Yes, Dan, that's what I'm saying. The whales literally, they get subtitles. I don't know if I don't know if it's, I don't know.
It's like Finn sign language?
Maybe they're doing Morse code in the waves. Yeah. I don't know, but they get subtitles. I'm telling you. It's ridiculous.
So then Quaritch's big idea is we're going to hunt one of the whales close to the village to piss them off. And so they hunt one of the whales.
It's a pretty good idea, turns out.
Yeah.
Are we talking about the whale scene yet? Because it's awful.
Okay, yes. So they're going to do that. Did we already do the thing where they hunted the whales? Oh, no, they haven't hunted the whales. They just set up that thing. Okay, so now the young boy swims out there to his whale. He swims into its mouth while everybody's watching, of course.
Yeah, it doesn't make no sense.
Then it rolls out its tongue, and then it connects with the tongue.
It's not his tongue. That's his dick. So...
It's not
just calling it like I see it, Dan.
It's in his mouth. Your dick is not in your mouth, Tony. It's not long enough to get out of there. What is the female whale? Swim her butt
She
into
also
him?
has to swim in there. Yeah. That's how you do it, man. You get in my mouth. Ow.
Get in my mouth. So he bonds with the whale. And what we find out is...
Thank God. Okay, I'm ready to listen. I'm going to be quiet for the next 2 minutes. Go.
He was a young rebel whale. And
what does that even mean? Hold on.
He's like the Marlon Brando of whales.
Okay, cool.
So what he did was he convinced the other tough young whales and some of the other tough young Sinavis that they should go and fight with the humans. So they go out there to fight with the humans. Everybody gets killed.
Right.
Except him. And so that's the whole idea, is his taking initiative as opposed to working within the power structure of the Sinavi means he gets outcast because a bunch of people died. And that's his. So instead of it being the humans' fault that they all died.
It's his fault.
His fault that they all died.
Well, that's pretty dumb.
You didn't get all that from that?
I didn't get any of that, Dan. If you haven't seen this movie, which first of all is a mistake if you're watching this podcast, because now you don't have to see it. But all that they show, he connects, and then all of a sudden they're already at war.
Yeah.
There's no moment where he's rallying the troops.
We had to cut that.
And then everyone's like, "Oh," and then they go off to war, right? None of that happens. They're just already at war. So I don't understand. People are just getting shot and ballooned, and then he's fine. I don't know. I was very confused. Didn't make any sense.
Oh my god. Okay. So that's that. The chief yells at the kids, and then we get this whole thing where the whales used to all fight, and so then the whales decided to stop fighting, and then everybody decided to stop fighting, and so the sea people can't fight.
Now, does this make sense to you? Because I don't understand what's happening.
Not entirely. So
Good enough for me.
The bad guys hunt the mom whale. I fast forwarded through this. I couldn't watch them hunting the
Dan,
mom
you
whale.
made the right choice because it is 8 minutes of them just torturing this innocent whale and I quote, the bad guy, I remember who asked, but someone asked the bad guy if they ever fight back. Must be the colonel asking the captain. He's like, I've never seen him lift a fin. Tough bastards to kill, though.
Because they're armored on the top. We set up that they're armored.
Just a bunch of assholes, man. Poachers are the worst.
That's the point at which they're drilling out his brain. I heard that line.
The semen.
Is it the brain or is it the semen?
I mean, it's definitely the brain.
Okay. Because like I said, I missed a part of the movie.
No, it depends on how you look at it.
If there's semen in the brain, it's semen. Okay.
Yeah, it's semen. Yeah, it's whale semen. Especially whale semen.
So, I've talked about it here on the podcast before. In improv, hurting animals is the easiest way to turn off an audience. Hurting animals, cancer, AIDS, the 3 signposts of turning off your audience. Like, why? Do we really need to see that?
Here's what I'll say, Dan.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch Anthony Jeselnik, the comedian?
A little bit.
He does all 3 of those. He does jokes on all 3 of those, and they are fucking hilarious. So listen, yes,
he's a giant prick, though.
He is the exception to the rule.
Sure, of course.
So yeah, don't do it. That's just full stop. Don't do it. But you can't get away with it if you're really good at it.
You have to modulate things perfectly if you want to get away with things like that.
It's a very tight line that you are walking down.
99.9% of the people fail miserably.
Yes, I do.
Then there's Anthony. So they drill out the brain and they suck it out through a pointy thing, and you get like a little tube of stuff that they call like amagretto or something, which is of course, and it stops human aging, which of course
in its tracks.
It's
apparently.
So we're trying to stop human aging so people can live on Earth, even though you don't want to live. Whatever.
Well, yeah, we've overpopulated. We're destroying the Earth. So our answer is to now make everyone live forever. Don't make any sense.
And they're not looking for unobtainium anymore. They're just looking for this.
Yeah, and I was gonna bring that up because unobtainium is your favorite thing in the world. You love that name. Is that better than having a name that nobody remembers?
I did some research.
Oh boy. Okay.
He did not make up the name unobtainium.
Oh, it's real? I mean,
it's a thing that scientists and engineers used for a period, sort of a post World War II, to talk about either a substance that they hope that can be made. So like a metal that doesn't conduct heat or something, or, but
it doesn't exist
yet. And they're hoping that they can get something like that. And there's a couple other instances. So I understand where he got it. He got it probably from reading something about, some atomic bomb scientists talking about unobtainium, or some aircraft people talking about it. But if you don't have that context, when the person says it, you're like, this is the dumbest thing ever.
It sounds very silly.
And once again, that's why people like James Cameron really need somebody outside of their bullshit crew. Somebody that doesn't, doesn't live off of the fat money that he spews into them.
Suckle on the teat of James Cameron, which, by the way, I am available to do, Jimmy. Just let me know.
I'm happy to work for $100,000 an hour to read your scripts and fix them.
I'll do whatever you want for $5,000 an hour. Anything You won, Jimmy.
Literally anything.
Literally anything.
I'm going to go off topic for 1 second.
Oh, no. We never do that on this podcast.
We watched this crazy documentary, which was going to be the documentary I talked about here, where it was like this. So, documentary you got to watch. It's called Stolen Youth, the Sarah Lawrence Cult. It's about this weird guy that forms this weird little cult.
At a college.
At a college.
Sarah Lawrence is a college.
Yes,
okay.
At a college.
Okay.
But at one point, one of the girls in the cult becomes like an escort.
Okay.
Charging some, she's like attractive-ish, but not like where you're like, whoa. How much money do you think she generated in a year being an escort?
Oh shit! In a year?
In a year.
Okay. What time period is this?
2, 3 years ago.
Oh, it's so recent. Okay, so if I'm an escort, I'm charging $2,000 for a night. I'm only working 3 days a week, probably on the weekends. $6,000 a week, 52 weeks. I can't do that math. What's 52 times 6?
I think 35. That's about 300,000.
Okay, yeah, about that.
$1 million.
Oh man, I'm really selling myself short.
$1 million. She made
how much?
$1 million.
Wow.
12 hours was $7,000.
$7,000
for 12 hours.
Who has enough money to pay for that?
And what are you gonna do for 12 hours?
It's way too long. I mean, maybe take a nap. I don't know. Maybe play some checkers. Oh wow, that's incredible.
$7,000 for 12 hours.
Hey, good for her.
Yeah. Then she had to give it to this cult guy.
Wait, she didn't get to keep her money?
No, he was prostituting.
Now that's fucked up.
That's why he's in jail. I just
he'd be 6 feet underground if that was me.
So they leave. So yeah. So how much do you think that canister of magic aging fluid was worth? They say they said it's the most valuable resource known to man. Yeah.
And she was $7,000 a night. So I'm sorry.
80 million.
80 million for a little vial?
That seems like not very much
money.
It's
not that bad. Yeah. Like people would pay for that for sure.
You'd have. I mean, if this girl
Elon Musk could pay for that in his sleep.
This random girl can make $1 million in a year. This is $80 million for.
I mean, I'm looking at houses here, Dan, that are like $2 million for a 2-bedroom, and they expect I'm supposed to be able to pay for that because I am employed. So they think that we have lots of money.
They think we have lots of money. The sea people get mad because the mama whale wrote songs, and we get this whole bullshit thing. I mean, I like the premise.
What did any of that mean? She composes songs. What? The hell are you talking about?
I get it, whale songs. I get it, but
yeah, no, I get it too. But they're not good songs.
You may not be racist, but you're a terrible person.
But I'm a bad man. I'm sorry. You're right.
So the war has come to us. We will fight. Jake gives him a speech.
Which also doesn't make sense because they were all like, don't bring your war to us because we don't want to fight. And he's like, but now let's fight. And they're like, okay, let's do it.
Speech. And then they're like, they say to the whales, go run away. Okay. And then so the stupid kid has to go warn his whale.
His rebel whale friend.
Peacon finds that whale's been marked. And then, this is where the whole movie happens. Oh, God. So basically, the sea people and Jake have to come to where they are because that's where it's going to happen.
Right. Yep. Right. Yep.
The ship's coming. The whale's there. The kids are there. The ship launches all these submarines, and then they realize that the kids are there. And so we have subs versus the kids. It's like a terrible 3D ride. These subs that are supposed to hunt whales have human-sized nets that shoot out.
Yeah, listen, the weapons didn't make any sense on this thing. It's very strange.
Spider runs out and yells for them to stop. They don't stop. They capture all the kids, and they cuff them to the rail of the ship.
Yeah, that's your move. That's your big move.
And then they take the radios from the kids, and he's like, Jake, I've got your kids. I got to trade you for the kids. And then the best part of the movie happens. The whale breaches and slam asses the ship.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
pretty dope.
fucking good.
Pretty great.
Things falling over. People are dying. He's like
flapping wings and knocking people into the ocean. It's pretty great. Pretty good scene.
It would be enjoyable on the big screen watching this whale fuck up this shit.
100%. People flying at you in 3D. That's always a treat.
Sadly, in this is the beginning of the third act.
Yeah.
This is by far the best part of the third act.
And how long is the third act, Dan?
4.5 hours.
And it's just a steady decline from this moment. Just keeps on going downhill. Oh, James.
Kiri is using sea anemones to kill people. And then finally Spider, after fucking 2.5 hours, decides, oh, I could do something. So he grabs the fire extinguisher and just starts banging people in the head.
Bashing people in the head, which is pretty great. I kind of liked it.
Actually, this part was really good too. You're just like, just go spider, 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 spider.
Yeah.
He goes wild, and then I think they grab him and cuff him.
Yeah, it takes like 3 people, though, which is nice. Like 3 adult men. I liked that.
The stupid captain's out there in his little spear ship, and then the whale and him fight. And at one point, the whale like uses the cable to cover the boat, and then he pins him, and then he cuts off his arm, and we
cuts off the dude's arm,
the arm go
flying.
Whoop, 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 whoop. Which I have to hope is like a nod to Star Wars. I mean, it has to be, right? It has to
I
be.
mean, there's a couple of nods in here that I'll point out as we get to them in the third act.
Yeah,
but
so I love that.
Yeah.
Then the kids decide they're going to rescue Spider. Then Took has to go back for Kiri. And then at one point, the colonel's men are like, can we still get this done? You're like, what the fuck are you?
What are you talking about?
Can we get what done? This is the most unmitigated disaster. You've destroyed I mean, that ship's got to be $2 billion or more. I can't even imagine how much money's involved.
Also, don't you think that they lost the whale seaman?
They lost however
they had to.
Yeah, of course, but that's just $80 million. This ship's got to be worth 50 times that.
Sure. Well, at least they already spent that money. You know what I mean? You can't get that back either way.
They play hide and seek on the ship for about 40 minutes, and then the one brother gets shot. So they take him to a rock, and then he dies.
Yeah.
And then Quaritch calls.
Be sad.
Quaritch calls is like, I know you've lost a son. And you're like, how the fuck
How do you know? How do you know? You're way far away, guy. And he didn't shoot him. That's an important distinction as well. You might think, he knows because he shot him. It's just a random stooge. Just a lucky shot.
And so what does Colonel say to him that he wants to do?
Same deal as before. Just like come over and hang out. I miss you, Jake. I miss you so much. I want to be friends with you.
Same deal as before? Like, wait a second. Like, kill one of his daughters. Do something to mitigate. Because what's Jake gonna do? Jake's gonna just come over there and kill him, right? Like Jake does every time.
Beat the shit out of you, dude. Yeah, we've already been here. Come on, man.
You were not in a position of power.
No, sir. You
had all the kids before, which you didn't kill any of the kids when you had a chance to do that then, right?
Nope.
Like, I don't trust this guy. I don't trust this guy to kill my kids.
No, he's a chicken shit. That's what's going on.
It turns into night, and then Spider's like, I'll show you where they're at. And they're like, okay.
Now, where are they at, Dan? They're through the moon pool. I don't know if you heard that line.
A little bit.
That's from, I mean, I don't know if this is an exact thing, but do you remember the movie The Abyss?
I love that.
One of James Cameron's older. They use the moon pool all the time. And I was like, I wonder if that's a nod to Abyss. I loved it.
Do you want to talk about when they have to kill themselves and then, because only one person can live, and then they have to drag the one person there, and it's so cold that they then have to bring him back to life? One of the most...
Yeah, we can't talk about it. I'll talk about Abyss all day.
Intense scenes in the movie, ever. I was like,
It's wonderful.
You're on the edge of your seat. This is life or death. And they pull off magic, in my opinion.
Amen.
That's movie magic.
Yeah, that movie's great, but shit, I should watch that again.
Except like the very end where you're like, what is this?
You don't like the aliens?
I mean, it's not that I don't like them. It's just a little goofy.
How are you going to wrap it up, Dan?
You can't wrap up that movie because you had that intense moment at that point.
Yeah,
and you're like, you never.
Nothing's going to measure up. Yeah. No. Anyhow, moon pool.
So then Nahiri and Jake just then come in two directions and just kill everybody without a hitch. Except Nahiri's bow breaks at one point.
Yeah. Oh, her bow from her daddy.
She cries.
Papa bow.
She's more freaked out about that bow than the kids.
Yeah, I don't think she really cares about the kids. I don't know.
What? How does Colonel Quaritch arm himself?
By grabbing the kid?
Arm himself. What weapon is his weapon of choice in all of this?
He's using a knife, a kniffy. Big old knife.
What happened the last time he tried to engage this family with a knife?
So, okay, here's my big problem.
I mean, he's watched a video of it, right? You think if Paul Walker watched a video of his first person driving a car into a tree, do you think he'd get in another one of those Maseratis or Ferraris or whatever it is?
I don't think that he would, no.
I don't think he would. I think he'd be taking public transportation and he'd be wearing a helmet.
Some PT. All right. Here's the thing, Dan, is that this is a concern throughout the whole movie for me.
Yeah.
Even in the very first scene when they are fighting by the train, the Na'vi are using bow and arrows through helicopter glass and killing people, which is how they killed them the last time they came 10 years ago. You're telling me you didn't learn anything in 10 years? Because that's what it seems like. They didn't come back more prepared this time. They came back exactly the same. Of course you're going to lose.
Tony, I'm going to write you a line.
All right, write a line.
What are the arrow tips made out of? Unobtainium.
I love it. That's great.
That should do anything, right?
Yeah, who knows?
That's what we do in the Marvel Universe. What's it made out of? Adamantium, vibranium.
Adamantium, baby.
Can do anything.
Yeah, no, it's just silly. So this is just more of the same. As he's making the same mistakes, they're making the same mistakes. It's terrible.
All you got, it takes one line.
Yeah.
And if you had this metal that does everything, right? Which, like, they write whole Marvel movies based on it.
Yeah, you're darn right they do.
Didn't make it through the new Black Panther movie. Didn't finish it. Turned it.
Oh, is it out? Is it streaming?
It's on Disney. Yeah.
Okay, I'll watch it this weekend or try. I guess I don't know.
Didn't finish it.
Oh, why? What happened? Is it bad? Is it too emotional?
Oh,
what's going on?
No, it's not too emotional.
Oh no. Okay. All right. Well, we don't have to talk about it. I'll watch it.
Woke Disney.
Oh, interesting.
That's not entirely why.
Oh, you heard it here. Dan could sell.
I usually don't go in for it's when they do like sort of woke. It's like the new National Treasure. Did you try and watch that? I thought we talked about that.
No, I can't bring myself to do it. It's just going to tarnish the legacy.
It's like there's so many things where you can use interesting, diverse casts, but there's a certain point where you reach this breaking point where you're just like, this. It's not even about the wokeness. It's about resources and things. Where there was this character that just had these resources that were unimaginable for the character. Okay. And I'm just like, I just can't buy this anymore. Like,
I just don't believe it.
How am I supposed to think that this person is competing with Iron Man? You're just like,
sure.
This is
God, I love Iron Man. That movie is incredible.
Quaritch has a knife.
Oh, right. Yeah, back to Avatar.
I'm sorry, I'm going to detour again.
Okay. we came back for just a brief second.
Said that I hated the score.
Oh, of this movie? Yeah, it's real bad.
It's just real bad. It's like a cookie cutter. I was in the middle of this movie. I watched an hour and a half of it, and I was like, okay, I did an hour and a half, and the next day I did another hour and a half. So I was done with this movie on Thursday. It was
wow, good for you.
Brilliant.
Really?
After watching an hour and a half of this movie, I had to go and watch the 4 or 5 big action scenes in RRR just so I could understand that there are action scenes in the world that have characters I care about, that are scored in a way that get me excited, that pump me up. This movie, none of the score pumps you up ever.
Nothing about this movie pumps me up. Well, not in a good way, not in a positive way. That's for sure.
Jesus. So Nahiri gets up there. She grabs Spider and she's holding the thing to his throat and is like, "I'm going to cut his throat unless you let my kids go." And then the Colonel's like, "I don't care about him." And then 2 seconds later, he's like, "I love my child. Let him go."
I care about him so much.
He's not even given like a couple minutes to transition from not caring to caring.
No, it's immediate.
Like,
it's
what
immediate.
The fuck?
Here's the part. Yes, that's crazy. Also, she has the line, "A son for a son." Right?
Yeah.
Here's my problem, is that she's talking about a son that's already dead. So she should just kill that guy because it's inconsequential to the daughter you're trying to get back. Those two things aren't the same.
Did
so
she
why
really
are you
say a son for a son? He doesn't say a son for a daughter?
A son for a son. And I was like, that son's already dead, so you should kill this one and then get a second child to trade for the daughter, because that doesn't make any sense, lady.
Because a son for a son means she has to kill Spider.
She has to kill Spider without even thinking about it.
And there's like this one shot where Spider sees her being sort of feral and he hides from her. And it's just like, she brought you up. You would not be afraid of her.
Yeah, it's your mama.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't make no sense.
And then he just gives up. And then I wrote, so they fight. Yeah, so then Jake and him fight. Jake should just destroy him.
Yeah, because he's been a Na'vi guy for a while, and this guy's just in a new body, basically. Because even beforehand, he had never done the transference thing, so he's not used to a Na'vi body, full stop.
Yeah. There's water, there's fire, everyone runs around, and then we do the Titanic, where the ship starts going like this.
Titanic,
but we go
100%.
One more than Titanic, we go all the way over.
All the way over.
So we're going full Poseidon adventure. Jake chokes out Quaritch. He dies, but then Spider takes him out of the water and undies him.
Undies him. That's great.
Which happens a couple times in this movie. We just magically a person no longer
Drowning
breathing.
Doesn't matter. Drowning is completely inconsequential. I wouldn't worry about that at all.
You're 40 meters under the water. You're no longer breathing. You're fine.
You're fine. They're not even going to give you CPR. You're just going to be fine.
Do they give any of these people?
No, it's basically you breach air and then you're fine. And there's no water in the lungs that comes out. I don't understand anything.
So then the kids have to go back to save their parents because both their parents are underwater in the ship
and useless.
Can't do anything because they're good at killing, but they never learned to swim. They didn't spend any time learning to swim. So the kids have to go there, teach the parents how to swim and how to breathe. And
now hold your breath. What do you mean? What do you mean hold my breath? I don't understand.
And then Kiri has to commune with all of nature and then send magic fish, glowing fish, to find everybody and give them paths out. And then the big whale helps also. I don't remember what the big whale did.
He just comes and takes the son and the dad faster up to the top. Because, again, he stopped breathing again. So.
And then finally Jake is like, I see you, son. Finally, his one son dying and then his other son having to save his useless ass.
And he's like, oh, I have two sons. I forgot.
I never noticed you before.
But now that you saved my life, I see you. And I don't have a choice because my other one's dead.
And then Spider saves his dad. And the dad's like, come with me, boy. Come with me. And then Spider's like, no.
Doesn't he hiss? I think he hisses at this point.
He hisses at him. He's like, no. And then he's like, I love you, boy. I love you, boy. And Spider goes back to them.
Yeah.
Them who was ready to slit his throat for their children.
Yeah.
That's who he's going back to.
That is correct.
I mean, hold on a second. Shouldn't the premise be Spider goes with his dad?
1,000,000%. Yes. But this is the classic cycle of abuse, He goes back to the abuser that loves him. So it is what it is. It doesn't make any sense. He should absolutely go with his dad, and that will be the drama for the next movie. But nope.
We do some more singing of the song chord beat shit about the dead son.
I didn't care the first time, don't care the second time.
Jake tells the sea people we're leaving now. somebody connects to the tree, and we see. Oh, he goes into the tree, and he sees his son there, and the son's like, oh, that was kind of a nice moment where
Yeah, it's fine.
the son hasn't, is like, why are you crying, Dad, or something, and Dad's like,
I'm just happy to see you, boy. Yeah.
And then Jake Sully gets some more exposition. I see now. This is where we make our stand. That's what he says. This is where we make our stand, and we zoom on his stupid face.
Yep, because he said, I'm not running anymore, or I can't save my family by running.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
This is our home, the Sea People, so now that's their home? I don't think so. This is where we make our stand. So not only did he indeed bring war to these people, he's going to try to force them to all die.
No. What he really means is we're going to leave the Sea People, and we're going to go find another indigenous race of Na'vi, the Mountain People. They're going to go see the Mountain People.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
Mountain People.
1,000% they're going to go see the Mountain People. And the Mountain People are going to have some, maybe some weapons or something.
Sure, yeah.
Like the adamantium. They're going to have something
Great.
up there that they can use that the humans are going to then switch the game again. The thing that they need is now in the mountains, and then we're going to fight over whatever the resource, the mountain resource,
the third resource,
because we haven't done fighting about a resource
yet
2 times already. We need 2 times didn't make it clear enough.
The third time is the charm, Dan. Just like jokes, you got to hit it 3 times before people really get it.
Now, do you want to talk about the song at the end of the movie?
The song with the lyrics that are almost just telling me what happened in the movie. I turned it off pretty quick.
I thought I could protect you from my sins.
Yep. Oh, sins? Got it.
Sins. Hold on a second. Sins? What? This has to do with Christianity? There's something to do with sins? Like, what the fuck?
Well, yeah, the sins of his humanness. Yeah.
Oh, God.
That's good. This is a good movie.
It's a terrible movie. I mean, I understand how it makes money. It looks good. It's, there's if you've grown up on a steady diet of video games, maybe the last 48-minute action scene is exciting to you.
It's exciting for a little bit, I'll tell you that, but it is too long. It's too much.
It is so long.
But there's some good stuff. The hour and a half preceding that, very boring. And then the first 30 minutes, I don't know, there's 9 hours of this movie. I don't know.
Anything else you want to say about this bio thing until we got to start gearing up for Avatar 3?
Yeah, I mean, I better start saving up some money because I'm going to have to see it a bunch of times.
Okay, here we got to write the tagline.
For Avatar 3?
Yeah, Avatar 3, The Mountain Fortress.
What is this? Is the way of water? Yeah. So it's got to be something about being part of the mountain. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I don't have any ideas. That's it.
Mind meld with Magic Mountain. Mind meld with Magic Mountain.
Magic Mountain. I love it.
Magic Mountain.
Magic Mountain.
Okay, we've made our prediction. We're going to put it up on YouTube, and we'll see how close we are.
I love it. Magic Mountain.
So, anything else to say about this?
If you are going to see it, you should probably see it in the theater. It's underwhelming on a TV.
It is.
I'll tell you that.
On the TV. There's not a lot of performance to hang your hat on. Yeah. I mean, I like I said, I rewatched every action scene in RRR, and every one of them affected me just as much as it did the first time.
I mean, it's a great movie. It's very fun.
Did you watch it finally?
Can I be honest with you, Dan?
Yeah.
I still haven't finished it.
Oh,
but
okay.
I have.
But you have watched parts of it.
Yeah.
There's if you haven't finished it, you have many treats. What point are you at?
Well, it's been over a month since I watched it.
Yeah. What had happened?
Totally remember
anything that happened?
No, I'm gonna have to start it over. I think, which is not a bad thing.
Did you see the part with the train and the bridge where they rescue the little kid?
Yes. Yeah, the little guy.
There it is.
Yeah.
They rescue this little kid, and then they're on the dock, and they're laughing, and the kid pulls a fish. I'm like,
There it is.
There it is. You've made a masterpiece. James Cameron could spend untold millions,
$1 jillion,
make
yeah.
$2 billion. You've made a movie that is 1,000 times superior to what that money has generated.
Amen to that.
Now we talk about something we like this week. We watched the new Dean Martin documentary called "The King of Cool" on Turner Classic
he
Movies.
is the king of cool.
The interesting thing was, Shannon and I both thought he was a drunk, like a real drunk.
Yeah, isn't that? I think that's a thing, right? It's not a thing.
That was his bit. That was his Las Vegas act. Was playing a drunk.
Wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to watch.
It
this
is
thing.
so fascinating. He had problems with barbiturates later on, but he was not a full-time nightmare alcoholic like we all thought. Later on in life, he had problem from barbiturates, and had problems remembering stuff and lines, and couldn't really function as a singer and an actor. But it wasn't because he was like a drunk piece of garbage. The drunk thing was a thing that another guy did who either died or retired, and he was looking for his comeback act, and he was like, "I'm going to do that."
That's it. I'm going to do it. Interesting.
Apple juice when he was on stage doing the act.
No kidding.
Apple juice. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay.
And the whole Rat Pack thing where they would go out and cavort all night.
Yeah.
He did that a little bit, but at a certain point, he was just like, "Frank, go fuck yourself. I'm going to bed," so that he could get up early in the morning and go golf.
I will listen. I get that 100%. Golf, God's sport, right there. It's the best, man.
Great documentary. I spoiled a couple of things, but
that's okay.
There's a million.
What's it on?
I think it's on Turner Classic Movies.
Okay.
Just a great documentary if you want to settle into somebody's life that there's a lot to learn about.
I love it. All right.
What do you got for us, Tony?
I'm pulling something from the past.
Ooh, nice.
I'm sure I've talked about this on the podcast. Psych, the television show, one of my favorite shows of all time.
Love it.
There was a period of time where USA Network was just churning out gold. Just great shows left and right. There's like five.
Burn Unit.
Burn Notice is the name of that show, Dan.
Burn Notice.
Monk.
Monk. Think about Monk. Jesus Christ, what a show.
Monk is so good.
What a show.
And one of them we never watched was Suits. We just never watched it, and we started watching it last week, and we are now through 3 seasons in under a week.
And you're very happy with where you're at?
Oh, I love it. I love it, love it, love it, love it. It's great.
They must have had some head of production that just really made some correct choices for the time.
Smart moves, yeah.
Things that they could get away with producing on a certain type of budget. Because Monk doesn't have a big budget or anything.
None of them do. That's the thing. They're all very contained, but just they're smart, they're quick, they're witty, and they're just so fun. And that person must be gone now, Dan, because now the only scripted show that USA has is Chucky. That's it.
We watched part of that show. It's really horrific and scary.
It's terrible.
It's really weird.
Yeah,
like people like Chucky, will you come over here and murder me? And then he murders them, and you're just like, wait, I don't understand
what's going on. And there's like suicide stuff. Like I don't know, man.
I was like, we're not watching this anymore.
Yeah, gone are the days of classic USA characters welcome, So,
Buddy Todd...
Where are we going?
Buddy Todd suggested a movie. I had already picked the movie, but he suggested a movie called Boltneck from the year 2000.
Is it about Frankenstein?
It's about a kid who dies and becomes like a Frankenstein or something. And then goes back to school and gets bullied by none other than Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds? What? And Matthew Lawrence? Dan, this is going to be my favorite movie we've ever watched.
So
holy buckets.
I was like, oh, let's look this up. I'm like, it's not available. I'm like, Oh. I'm like, wait, the DVDs that are available look like they're fucking German, they're from Germany. I'm like, let's look on eBay. There's a VHS for $15.99. There's a US DVD, $79.99.
$79.99?
Something like that. It's like 70 or $80. So for whatever reason, this movie's kind of buried. So I just wanted to put that one in your mind, Tony. So if you ever want to do something about it. Because
hold on, it says that it's streaming on Tubi.
Actually, let me rephrase all that. Of course, I immediately forgot. The entire movie's on YouTube. We just watch it on YouTube.
I'm down with that. Let's do it.
No, we're not doing that because I picked a different movie.
Fine, we're doing that next week.
Yeah, you can pick that movie if you
Yeah,
want.
I'll pick the shit out of it.
But I just thought it was very funny because that was a Todd suggestion.
Todd, you did a great job. I'm very excited about it.
I was like hunting around. I was like, we should do Wild West, but we're not doing Wild West. And I was like looking around. And I'm like, wait, what's this movie? Dark Tide, 2012.
Dark Tide.
Halle Berry versus sharks.
Oh no. I'm going to be rooting for the sharks the whole time, Dan.
So we're doing Dark Tide, 2012, Halle Berry versus sharks. Because you said you love shark movies, and we need to watch another shark movie. Because I was like, after Avatar: Way of Water, we need to watch a terrible Halle Berry shark movie to see how it's done correctly.
That's what you need.
Correctly,
That's right.
badly.
That's right. I'm ready.
This Avatar's done things James Cameron badly. I want to see how a bad movie does a bad shark movie.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be good. I'm excited.
And then maybe we'll do Boltneck in a week.
I'll figure out how to do it.
No,
easily.
I think it's just on YouTube. I think the whole movie's on YouTube.
It?
Yeah, it
All
is.
right.
Because I was like, there's only when you search it, there's only two things, and the first one is the whole movie.
The whole movie. All right,
yeah.
Great. Well, that's what we'll do.
So we know what we're doing for the next couple of weeks, and then maybe we'll just do Boltneck in 2 weeks, and then you'll get a pick after Boltneck. Let's do that. So so basically Todd's getting a pick.
Todd gets a pick on the podcast.
Todd
Great
gets a
job.
pick, and then Tony gets a pick after Todd's pick.
I love it. This is incredible.
Yeah. So, Avatar 2, Way of Water. This might be our longest show. I think we're over 2 hours.
We talked for a little bit in the beginning, which will get cut. So it's probably, we're definitely hour 50.
Yeah.
It's
one of our longer ones. I think, because the other one, what was it? That other movie that was super long, the Cloud Atlas. That was our other longest episode, I believe.
We were less angry with that as well.
It's a better movie. Much better.
Well, yeah,
much
that's a given.
Movie.
That's a given.
So if you like what you see, leave us a comment, give us a thumbs up, maybe subscribe, and we're going to be back next week.
If you made it this far in the show, give yourself a pat in the back because
congratulations,
your dedication, and we appreciate you.
Congratulations! Thank you for hanging in there. Hopefully, we said a lot of things that,
and we'll tighten it up next week.
Absolutely next week. Gonna be tight like Halle Berry's abs.
Hair. Oh, shoot.
Oh.
I went the wrong way.
Ooh, her hair.
Oh, that's right. You like the show. We'll talk.
Love that.
Catwoman.
Oh,
no.
Love that hair. Good hair game on Halle Berry. Her hair game always right up
on point.
Right up there with my girl from Kristen Stewart.
Oh, Kristen Stewart from Twilight. You can say it, Dan. Don't be ashamed. You're a twihard.
I was in this one. The last class I took, the teacher busted out the Twilight and was like making fun of the book, as like bad
fair.
writing. And I was like, we spend a lot of time making fun of stuff that's bad.
Yeah.
But there's a reason, it's like the Avatar means something to people. It has some resonance that is not entirely understandable to me or perhaps
it's
you.
Unclear, but great.
But it does.
Great for you.
And if you like it, you like it. That's fine. We're going to pick it apart because we're a couple of jerks. But it doesn't make it
just a couple of jerks.
Doesn't make it wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I love Twilight. So
we know it's fine. That's okay. It's okay to love things.
Deep down inside, I'm more of a teenage girl than Tony. I'm not. Tony's the biggest.
There's no way that can't happen. I'm sorry.
Tony's the embodiment of the CW network.
I am. I'm gonna miss. They're messing that thing up big time.
Really, they're ruining it.
They are ruining it fast.
So we'll be back next week. Maybe we'll see you then.
Dark Tide. Goodbye, everybody.